And honestly, like sports journalism, I kind of got burned out. Like I needed that break. I needed that. I joke sometimes that I divorced sports.
If you're a sports fan in the Valley, you've probably read Dana Sulonen's column in the Warren Tribune. She was the sports editor there. That was before a stop in Auburn, Alabama, and then the sports editor job at the Detroit Free Press.
And that was all between 2012 to 2019. And so, just a lot. And I was burned out. I was honestly burned out and I needed a break.
Dana figured she'd go back to school and eventually teach. But an opportunity came about that she couldn't pass up. What about writing a book? A favorite author of hers, Corinne Michaels, was offering to help people trying to start a book.
And she was accepting never published authors before. And I'm like, it was kind of like, this was my sign. If I was going to do it ever, this was the time I was going to do it.
The interesting twist, this had nothing to do with sports. Corinne Michaels is a romance novelist, and reading romance books was Dana's secret guilty pleasure. So she wrote a few chapters and sent them off, not knowing if she'd ever hear another word. But one day, her life changed.
And that's when I got the email. I was literally sitting at Panera on Elm Road, just doing grad school work, and said, "You've been selected. Let's sign a contract."
She needed a full story and a pen name, finally settling on Chelle Sloan. Her middle name is Michelle, so that was easy, and Sloan kind of sounded like Sulonen anyway. And Chelle Sloan was born, as was her first book.
And I was really going to go one and done. I was going to do the one book, kind of bucket list, say I did it. And then she looked at me and said, "So what's next?" The first book was published in 2020, and here I am, 11 books later.
Chelle writes books in series. The first one is about a subject she knew all about.
One of my friends was like, "Write the sports romance that you would read." And I'm like, okay. So that's when I was like, I'll make a football team. I named it the Nashville Fury. I just came up and invented a football team, why not? And so there are 4 books in that series, and they kind of all lead into the others, but each have a separate couple.
Just because she's using her sports knowledge to come up with the content doesn't mean it's easy for her or any writer, especially as they evolve from their beginnings.
The hard part was learning what kind of writer I was. And because every writer is different, so what system is gonna work best for me? Am I gonna be the super detailed planner? Am I just gonna, let's see what happens today when I sit down at the computer? And I'm still learning that about myself.
Soon word got out to her colleagues that romance, of all things, was the way Dana planned to try to pay the bills. And she's heard nothing but positive feedback.
I don't think anybody knew I read romance novels back then, right? Like it was just kind of something that I did for myself off to the side. The romance novels kind of became my like escape and my like comfort. And I think I just resonated in that like they gave me that joy and I wanted to bring other joy to other people, what it gave me at one point. People buy my books because just because of the words I write, but because of me. Like I've always kind of had that, like, I like you, I relate to you, I want to be your friend. Hell yeah, I'll read your book, kind of mentality. So I want to put myself out there and be approachable and be relatable and be funny.
Now the lady that used to cover the celebrities is one herself. Hundreds routinely show up at her book signings, and that's something she still can't believe.
It's very cool, it's very surreal. Like people come up like, "Oh my gosh, I saw you on TikTok, I saw you on here." Like, it's just so, it still like gives me a weird feeling of just like, me? Not that, you coming to me?
Right.
You're buying my books? Like, you don't get over it. It's a really cool feeling, and I'm grateful for it every day, so.
And since we did this interview on Valentine's Day, I had to ask one more thing.
People will ask when they see this if somebody's swept you off your feet.
No. Still waiting for my happily ever after. That's why I write them. I don't have it yet.
Let's just end it like that.